my dear students! How are you today? I'm Ma'am Luz Biminda Malyari and I will be with you for today's video lesson. Today, we are going to learn about ICT-based adaptation of 21st century literary piece and self and peer assessment. At the end of this module, you are expected to Number 1. Enumerate do's and don'ts in using multiple forms. Number 2. Apply ICT skills in creating an adaptation of literary piece by group. Number 3. Assess one's adaptation using self-assessment tool. Before we start our lesson, let's have our first activity, true or false. Read each statement about do's and don'ts of social media carefully and write true if you think the statement is correct and write false if you think the statement is incorrect. Write your answer on a separate sheet. Number 1. We can use humor in acceptable instances. True or false? Number 2. We have to be very professional in dealing with social media issues. True or false? Number 3. We can share all and any information about us so people will know us. True or false? Number 4. We have to leave biased topics when expressing our sentiments online. True or false? Number 5. We should share only correct information to gain popularity and fame. True or false? Great! The activity that you've answered is related to our lesson, which is all about do's, don'ts, and definitely don'ts of social media. Social media is any digital tool that allows users to quickly create and share content with the public. Social media encompasses a wide range of websites and apps, such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Messenger, YouTube, and TikTok. And as a user, it is important to be a responsible one and know the etiquettes in using it. Let's start with the do's. There are some simple, somewhat common sense best practices when it comes to creating and sharing content online. When you're ready to post it, it's important to be yourself, the charming, moderately censored, professional version. If you keep this in mind, you'll be able to build an authentic persona that people would want to engage with online. Use humor. When acceptable and necessary, sometimes it comes down to personal judgment. When in doubt, keep it poised, but don't be afraid to exercise your wit when it proves fun, appropriate, and relatable. Think before you post. Online is forever in many cases. Don't engage in topics or conversations that could leave you regretting your words years, months, or even seconds later. Next is for the don'ts. As netizens, we generally want to influence others by sharing something valuable, relevant, and non-offensive. Therefore, it's important not to forget your grammar check. Proper grammar and sentence structure will show that your content comes across as professional, polished, and considered. Make a mistake? Edit, delete, and/or repost if appropriate. Recheck before you post. Neglect current events. Social media moves a million miles an hour, and commenting on something that you are not well informed and or you haven't researched can come across as ignorant or insensitive to news and important issues. Bottom line, comment only a current event if you feel it is necessary for your well-being and will be valued by your online community. When in doubt, leave politics entirely out of the equation. Be tone deaf. Relative to neglecting current event research, coming across as tone deaf. Not being empathetic to a situation and speaking on it appropriately can be as simple as not checking a trending hashtag before using it for your posts online. Lastly, the definitely don'ts. There is don'ts, and then there are several things you really should not to do online. While that may be a bit overacting, it's important to be aware of the risks you take with certain actions when using social media. Share too much information, otherwise known as TMI. Some things are better left unsaid. As a rule of thumb, people do not need to know your physiological functions, your embarrassing moments, or your lengthy daily recap. In a way, posting your itinerary can also endanger you in so many ways. Flat out lie. Don't risk whatever reputation you may have already made by sharing false, misleading, or reputable information online. A good guideline is to share factual information for which you have supporting data or professional viewpoints. Being honest about your achievements and knowledge base will help you build a trustworthy online persona with the online community. Share your strong opinions, political or controversial subject matter. If you're looking to build a worthy online persona, it's best to leave certain subjects out of your conversations. With so much valuable content and ideas to exchange, there are much more productive ways to grow an audience. Leave biased topics to discuss with trusted family and friends offline. Now that we are done with the discussion, it's your turn to do the activities and assessments. Independent Activity 1. Take a look at the poster on the side. On a separate sheet of paper, answer the following questions. What can you say about this message? What feelings does it give you? As a female, how can you relate this to yourself? As a male, how can you support what the poster means? Independent Assessment 1. Create a simple original Hugot line regarding the poster and its meaning. Write your output on a separate sheet of paper. You may include drawings or images. For our rubrics, creative use of language equals 5 points. Appropriateness to the theme equals 5 points. Timeliness equals 5 points. Independent Activity 2. Read and understand the poem. An Introduction by Kamala Das. After that, answer discussion questions. Independent Assessment 2. Answer the question related to your gender. Use a separate sheet of paper. You may encode your answer with images to support your points. As a female, what are some of the inequalities women have experienced in the Indian society, in the world? For our male, number 2, how can you help lessen the inequalities being experienced by the women in our society? Independent Activity 3. Create a rubric for a freestyle poem Use a separate sheet of paper. Independent Assessment 3. Create your own freestyle adaptation of An Introduction by Kamala Das using social media. Take a screenshot of your post and have it printed on a short bond paper. And for the last activity, what I have learned. What have you learned regarding the use of multimedia in creating an adaptation of a literary piece? Can ICT, multimedia help millennials like you appreciate literature even more? Why or why not? Use a separate sheet of paper. Thank you, my dear students. Hope you've learned a lot from our discussion. See you in our next video lesson. Keep safe and God bless.